Let's bring in our regular Tuesday panel, Stephen Conroy and Michael Kroger. Gents, great to see you. Michael, the opposition leader really ratcheting up his argument on nuclear. He says to the Prime Minister, meet me anywhere, meet me at the press club, I'll debate you on this.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good argument to be against. I mean, France have got 70% of their nuclear power, the power from electricity from nuclear power. They've got 56 nuclear reactors. They've got 14 in the pipeline. They've had it safely for over 60 years. The coalition's always taken the view that it's technology agnostic. If it works, zero emissions, et cetera, why not debate it? I mean, now Labor seem to have this 1970s view of uranium and nuclear power, and I think they've got to move on from it. I mean, the rest of the world's increasing its nuclear capacity, and Labor shouldn't be so scared, for goodness sake.
The polling suggests that the electorate, Stephen, is also much more open to it today than it has been in years gone by.
Look, Peter Dutton's made the big claim, let's have a debate. Well, how about, first of all, Peter, you answer some very simple questions before you start demanding a debate. So start with what's it going to cost and how long is it going to take to put into the grid? And if you believe, Kieran, what Ted O'Brien's saying, it can be done in 10 years, I've got a harbour bridge I want to sell you. And then if you look at the blowout in costs all around the world in these large reactors. So let's just be clear that we're separating out the small modular nuclear reactors. Matt Canavan and Peter Dutton have said no, they're not on the table because they haven't been built anywhere in the world, despite all the promises. The costs of blowouts have crippled and bankrupted a number of companies in the US. So they're not on the table. This is the big, call it the French nuclear reactor situation. So let's look at what the costs of they are. Yeah. Let's see how long it's going to take to build one. Let's name the sites where they're going to be. Then you might want to be able to say, I demand an argument. But until he starts telling the truth about the costs and how long it's going to be before that can be deployed into the system, the renewable energy market will have grown so much, even as they'll then say, oh, but it's not reliable. But the growth in it, we'll see, coupled with gas, provided we've got a sensible transition policy, there is just nothing left for nuclear in the years 2035 to 2040. The market will be already saturated. So no one's going to take up this chance. Peter Dutton is looking for a big distraction after a pretty flimsy Dunkley performance, and this is it.
Michael, on the politics of this, the idea that let's move away from the merits of the energy solution to the politics and whether or not this is a good thing for Peter Dutton to be embracing what is, it's no longer a small target opposition, that's for sure, Michael.
No, well, it's not. Well, you raise a really interesting question. And what Dutton is doing politically is absolutely the right thing to do. The coalition cannot be stuck in this vortex of opposing all of the societal changes demanded by the centre-left and the left in this country. There are 1,000 campaigns being run by the left. In every part of our daily lives, the left have got some campaign to close something down or shut something off. And what the coalition has basically done for years is react to those things. Oh, we're against The Voice, we're against the Republic, we're against, cancelling live sheep exports, we're against abolishing greyhound racing, etc. Wherever you go, right? Wherever you go in our society, the left's using lawfare to stop projects being built, etc. You've got radical Aboriginal activists, you've got, the list goes on. And so what's important is for the coalition to actually be seen to be in favour of some big visionary ideas, to be an alternative government based on vision, not on just opposing all the changes. And so you're never going to inspire people to your cause if all you do is oppose the changes of the left. You need some ideas of your own, and that's why at a subliminal political level, what Dutton's doing is absolutely the right thing to do. Absolutely.
The other thing that this does enable, Stephen, and I was talking to a colleague yesterday about this and just making the point that one of the challenges for Peter Dutton right now is to try and navigate the emissions reduction targets and all of the related debate around that. Not with the electorate, internally. You've got the nationalists he's got to bring on board. He's got the moderates he's got to bring on board. With nuclear, he can be very ambitious on his reduction targets. You know, placate the Nats because you're going nuclear, but the moderates, you say, look, yeah, we're net zero. We could be net zero by 2040. And who knows where he goes with these targets, but he can be super ambitious on those given nuclear is zero emissions.
Look, there is a political fig leaf that he can use to straddle the differing perspectives. Okay, the problem is the economics don't work. He is now entering the realms of the pixies at the bottom of the garden of the Greens economic sort of initiatives. It doesn't stack up. It actually just doesn't. So when you strip away the fig leaf, that all he's really trying to do is pretend to the teal seats that he's about zero emissions, coupled with managing, you know, the Barnaby Joyce and the Matt Canavans, who just refuse point blank to believe that climate change is a political issue that they can, you know, play with. Then you see what's going on. It is a fig leaf as a cover to allow him to try and take environmental climate change debate off the table. The economics doesn't stack up. There isn't anyone pretending it other than Ted O'Brien. So, yes, he is creating a distraction. You know, Michael has said for months, we want to be on tax. Well, Peter Dutton is running away from the tax debate. So now he's got to get a more substantive, you know, distraction for the next few months until after the budget. And then the serious time is once that budget's out, the opposition have got to lay out some policies going into the next election, either at the end of this year or early, you know, Marchish next year. So this is designed to, you know, they're pretending they're going to restore the tax cuts. Okay, that's great. Up to the election, then they can't pretend anymore. The numbers are all on the table. They've got to take them. I've sat there in these rooms going, okay, we've seen the budget. We know what the figures are. What can we do? He needs just a distraction between now and the budget, and he's going to keep hammering it. But his challenge is it just doesn't stack up.
Stephen, Michael, thanks, gents. See you next week.